Tonight on NewsWatch 12 at 6, we're continuing to track the 12-acre fire that prompted evacuation warnings overnight. Details on what the fire is looking like now and what's next for local authorities. And with ballots due in just 2 hours, we're giving you a final look at how local measures are impacting your community, what you need to know about the special elections.
And we'll be bumping temperatures up a bit for tomorrow, getting to the upper 70s in the Rogue Valley, low to mid 70s in the Basin. We'll talk about what temperatures are looking like, though, for the holiday weekend ahead coming up.
Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12 at 6.
We got a preview of fire season late last night in Mount Shasta with a 12-acre fire placing several residents under evacuation warnings. Most of those warnings have since been lifted because of first responders' efforts to stop forward progress on this fire, but the incident is highlighting a larger concern. This is one of the first fires of the year to prompt evacuation warnings, and it comes before fire season even begins. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Haley Gravitt. We're continuing to track the spring fire that was reported late last night as police now searching for a person of interest. NewsWatch 12's Rocky Walker joining us live in studio with more details on the fire and the aftermath tonight. Rocky.
Stop progression, and last we heard from CAL FIRE, it's remaining within that footprint, burning timber and brush, but with no flames. MTS 6155 still remains under an evacuation warning tonight. Here's what we know so far. Look at your screens. You'll see flames rising from the spring fire. The spring fire is now 30% contained. 60 personnel are assigned, but CAL FIRE says suppression efforts are slow. They say it's because the area is difficult to access. The cause of the fire is under investigation, but authorities have a person of interest and a be on the lookout alert. Mount Shasta police are now seeking information on the person of interest who was seen near Mount Shasta City Park.
We don't know if it is accidental or arson yet, because the start of the fire is undetermined, and that's why we're trying to make contact with him.
While we don't have a picture, we do have a description. Police say to look for a white adult male with a slender build and a scruffy beard. They also say he has short, dark, curly hair and was seen wearing gray sweatpants without a shirt or shoes. Now, the number that's coming up right behind me, that is to the Mount Shasta Police Department. They say if you see someone matching the description, do not try to approach them. Instead, call the police. Reporting live in studio, I'm Rocky Walker.
Rocky, thank you. And with the spring fire prompting evacuation warnings and fire season getting closer by the day, now is the time to learn your evacuation zone and make sure you have an emergency response plan in place. Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman is joining us with a look at our forecast, but also to break down the difference between evacuations because it is different for Oregon and California.
Yeah, let's go through that difference. First, starting with California. So yesterday we had some evacuation warnings issued in the Mount Shasta area. That means you need to be set and ready to leave at a moment's notice. But should there be an evacuation order in California, that means you need to leave immediately and you are in immediate danger. Now in Oregon, it works different. It's a level 1, 2, and 3 system. Level 1 means be ready, know of the danger in your area. A level 2 is be set, ready to leave at a moment's notice. And if there's a level 3 go now evacuation, that means you are in immediate danger and need to leave. So that is the difference. We'll, of course, keep you posted on any evacuations throughout Southern Oregon and Northern California in the months ahead as we get into fire season. In the meantime, we are sticking with mainly clear skies out there. There's a few high clouds drifting in to portions of Northern California. Temperatures this hour near 70 in Medford at 69 degrees, at 68 in Mount Shasta, 63 degrees in Klamath Falls, and 58 along the coast in Brookings. Winds a little bit breezy in a lot of spots out there. That late day breeze picking up for a lot of our inland valleys. It's been pretty blustery today throughout the day along the coast. Gusts up to 29 miles per hour in Crescent City, 25 miles per hour right now in Gold Beach. This evening in the Rogue Valley, mainly clear skies. Temperatures will dip down into the upper 50s by 9 o'clock, down around 54 degrees by 11. Sunset tonight is at 8:32 p.m. A bit chilly to start off tomorrow. We'll drop down to 40 in Grants Pass, 34 degrees in Klamath Falls, and 39 in Wairika. But despite that chilly start, it will be a warmer afternoon. Temperatures actually getting up above average, but we will see increasing clouds as we go throughout the day. And then looking ahead to Thursday, don't forget the Storm Tracker 12 summer forecast this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Sarah and I will get you ready for the summer season ahead. But we'll take a look at your forecast though for the big holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend almost here. Boatnik and the Azalea Festival all going on in our region. I'll have the forecast for both coming up in just a bit. Haley.
Matt, thank you. And today we are less than 2 hours out from the deadline to submit your ballot for the May special elections. If you haven't submitted it yet, you still have time to do so. We have a full list of the races that you can expect to see on the ballot available on our website. You can also find election results as they come in tonight at 8 p.m. But let's take a quick look at some of the measures right now. Over in Curry County, voters are deciding on a new 5-year tax levy to restore law enforcement staffing. Sheriff John Ward says there's no one left to patrol the roads, but some county leaders are questioning the management and whether the funding plan is a solid choice. Measure 8117 would raise over $4 million a year, adding 5 patrol deputies, 2 dispatchers, and a sergeant.
When you call somebody for help, we want to be there. Right now, we're reactive, totally reactive, and I like to be more proactive. And I'd like to see them help us help them by funding this levy.
I think it's a bit irresponsible to ask our taxpayers to approve this levy only because we don't know what it actually takes to fund the sheriff's office.
And the commissioner expressed concerns about the levy's effectiveness and potential financial burden on residents. If passed, the levy would fund patrols, equipment upgrades, and community policing programs. Opponents argue the increased funding alone will not address the underlying issue in law enforcement. If approved, a citizen committee would oversee how Measure 8117 funds are spent. And also on special election ballots, 3 positions in the Medford School District will be voted on. We've told you in the past about conflicts in the Medford School Board. Now director positions 1, 2, and 3 are opening as the current members' 4-year terms end. Jeff Kinsella and Suzanne Messer currently hold positions 1 and 2 and will not be running for re-election, while Cynthia Wright is running for re-election for position 3 against Terrence Saunders and Eric Johnson. A closer look at the candidates can be found on our special election page on KDRV.com. Again, that's where you can find election results later on tonight after 8 p.m. And as we look at today's election, students are pushing lawmakers to pass a House bill in Oregon to allow the youth to vote in school board elections. House Bill 3012, which was introduced earlier this year, would allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in nonpartisan school board elections starting in 2029. Right now, Oregon automatically registers 16 and 17-year-olds when they obtain a driver's license, but they do not receive a ballot until they are 18. And Governor Tina Kotek made a brief stop in Medford today, meeting with local business leaders, touching on key issues including wildfire recovery and the state's kicker tax rebate. Governor Kotek focused on Southern Oregon's challenges, including wildfire preparedness. She proposed using part of Oregon's $1.7 billion kicker refund to fund wildfire costs, which she believes could help address the growing threat.
Most Oregonians can still get their kicker, and there would still be leftover money for people in higher income households not getting their kicker that we could be putting towards wildfire. We could be putting aside close to $1 billion for fighting fires and making communities more resilient.
Governor Kotek stressed the need to prepare for another tough wildfire season and advocated for more funding for suppression and community resilience. And the governor will be getting a bill on her desk that would prohibit landlords from asking tenants about their immigration status if she signs it. Senate Bill 599 has already passed in both the House and Senate. The bill would prevent landlords from discriminating against an individual based on the type of identification documents provided to them. It also prevents landlords from disclosing or threatening to disclose an applicant's or tenant's immigration status. And we're following up on last night's listening and learning session. The Grants Pass City Council is looking to Portland for guidance for their response to homelessness. The meeting was to define terminology used in House Bill 3115, which requires cities using public property for experiencing homelessness to enact restrictions that are, quote, objectively reasonable. The council answered community questions about the bill and what the city is considering to be reasonable.
It just says that our regulations have to be objectively reasonable from the perspective of someone that is experiencing homelessness. So it's at this point just a case-by-case analysis and whether or not it's going to be reasonable under those particular circumstances.
The city of Grants Pass is comparing its situation with its homeless population to bigger cities in the state. They say that the modeling from Portland could help them find a better fit for the city of Grants Pass. Councilors say it was productive to learn what the community needs and what it wants. And on to an update tonight. Oregon State Police have announced they're clearing off the West Coast Game Park Safari after a 4-day search. They say 310 animals were seized and have been moved to facilities. 3 were euthanized in the search, including a camel, a chicken, and a honey bear. OSP is now processing evidence gathered while this investigation continues. And looking ahead tonight, if you're traveling for Memorial Day weekend in Northern California, Caltrans District 2 is urging you to prepare for some delays. Ongoing construction and maintenance projects in several counties, including Shasta and Siskiyou, are expected to impact travel. Road work along Interstate 5 and Highway 96 in Siskiyou County are amongst areas being impacted. More details on the project ahead of your travel holiday can be found on KDRV.com.